Hey, friends. This is Martine Williams, and I am obsessed with all things mompreneur life and helping you to remix your priorities, your habits, your mindsets, and yes, even your relationships so that you can build a successful business without losing yourself in the process. I'm also obsessed with the color turquoise and lyrics of the 80s and 90s, but that's beside the point. Girlfriend, you don't have to hustle 24/7, 365 and continue to sacrifice your health, your relationships, and your sanity to be a successful mompreneur. As a small town girl living in a lonely world to a six-figure mompreneur, I am here to teach you how. There is a better way, and this podcast is your one-stop shop for all of the how-tos, the encouragement, the life hacks, the success tips, and of course, a little side of tough love. This is the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. So let's do this. Sponsoring and developing leaders are the keys to growing your income. When we change the way we think, we change the way we work, which changes the results that we get. But we have to change the way we think first. You have to change the way you see sponsoring first, because it doesn't matter the skill sets or the to-dos or the how-tos. If your mindset is not right, then you're not going to implement. You're just not, because I've been there. I understand. Here's the thing, and it will surprise you probably if you haven't sponsored your first team member, or maybe this is something that you haven't done in a long time because you've just allowed stinking thinking to creep in. It really was one of the most rewarding parts of my business when I was in the field. Sharing the business with others and helping them become successful just gave me such a great feeling of worth, unlike really any other aspect of the business. And then once you start sponsoring and watching other team members succeed, you will be even more excited about your business, and sponsoring will become your favorite part. So if you are kind of in a funk, I would say newness. I think I've talked about this before. There are three things that keep us excited in the business: new training, new success, and new product. So you're probably experiencing at least one, maybe two, maybe all three right now, because usually there's a new product launch this time of year. But maybe now you're listening to some new training, but maybe you haven't had a new success. And there's nothing like the excitement of a new team member coming on and you getting to walk beside her and help her to have a successful launch of her business. But it really will become one of your favorite parts. And I want you to remember this one thing today. If you don't remember anything else, it's our job to offer and their job to accept or decline. That was another kind of quote that my coach, Sherry McAllister, shared with me that really just stuck with me. It's my job to offer, just like it's the waitress's job to offer dessert. Some are going to say yes, some are going to say no, but it's still her job to offer. And so it's our job to offer it, and it's their job to accept or decline. So again, I hope to change your mindsets on sponsoring and give you some helpful and effective ways to sponsor with confidence and to give you results. But it really can be easy if you have the right perception or mindset. So why don't we sponsor? Why are you not sponsoring in the business? And what we have found is, number one, the perceptions about sponsoring are wrong. The number one perception, and I'm guilty of having this one when I was in the business, was that I had to be pushy. And it just doesn't work. Right? Being a pushy person doesn't work. People resist pushy people. This is the perception that I had about sponsoring when I first started the business. And it really did keep me from sharing this amazing gift for 2 years. Y'all, I mean, I had people join my team, but I didn't actually share it with anybody for 2 years. And I was just afraid to ask them in fear they would think I was that pushy person. They would be like, oh, here she comes. She's going to throw up her company and her product and her opportunity all over me. And so I just didn't want to be that person, because have you ever been in a store? There's one store here that I love, their shoes, but every time, I don't go, because every time I do, it's like a bunch of vultures, and they literally push me right on out of the store because they won't just let me ask questions when I'm interested. They won't let me just look around and investigate, right? And so being pushy does not work. But that is a perception that we have, is that we have to be that pushy person in order to sponsor. So here are 4 things that have helped me to shift my perspective. And again, these are things that were taught to me by my coach that I still like to teach today. Number 1 is that sponsoring is helping someone else get what they want. It's helping someone else get what they want, period. It could be they just love the product. It could be that they need more girl time. It could be they are interested in the income, maybe the free vacations, maybe the encouragement and the recognition they're going to be receiving. But that's all sponsoring is helping someone else get what they want. Zig Ziglar says you can get everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. You'll hear me quote Zig quite a bit. The second thing that I learned to help me shift my perspective is that sponsoring is simply sharing something you believe in with someone who will benefit from it, which goes back to what we talked about in the very beginning. Do you believe in what you are doing? Have you benefited from your business? If so, how? Like real specific. And do you know others who need those things? Again, are we using our superpower of hearing and vision to notice those others who need some of the same things that maybe you just listed out? And so if you kind of are, like I said, in that funk, go back to those questions. How have you benefited from your business? And just write out as many as you can. From the greatest to the least, they're all benefits. And then who do you know that needs those things? The third thing that I learned to help me shift my perspective is that focus on the benefit to them instead of what you're going to get out of it. Focus on the benefit to them instead of what you are going to get out of it. This, y'all, really makes it so much easier. When we totally get focused on them, it is just mentally easier. You're not worried about how you're going to say it, what you're going to say. You're not going to be spammy and you're not going to be like cold DMing people and things like that. You're going to be totally focused on them and you're going to have noticed something about them that made you want to share the opportunity. I still think about this when I step on a stage to speak or train, or if I'm just kind of not in my comfort zone and there's other people that I'm going to be speaking to. This is something that my coach said to me. And she said, if you are nervous or afraid, you are focused on the wrong person. And I remember how much that helped me when I first spoke in front of like 250 people for the first time on a big stage. And I was just totally nervous and trying to prep and make sure I had all my content ready and, just didn't want to waste people's time and wanted to really bring value. And she said that to me. And that has made the biggest difference. And that goes for whether you're on a stage with 10,000 people listening to you or in a one-on-one conversation with someone about your opportunity. If you're nervous or afraid, you're focused on the wrong person. All right. And number 4 is, I've said this already, it's our job to offer and it's their job to accept or decline. Because if we don't offer, then we've ultimately made that decision for them, right? We come up with all these reasons why. Like we'll say something like, well, they're too shy. She's too shy. Or they don't have, a social media presence, or they don't have a big following on social media, or they have 5 kids. How would she ever have time to add one more thing to her plate? Or they have too much money, or they're too old. Like we come up with all of these reasons why we don't, when really it's just coming from a place of fear. You're worried about what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. And you're also probably worried about rejection and them saying no, but people do join for a lot of different reasons. So we always need to offer it to everyone. One of the easy kind of equations I like to share is the why you should, why you could. So when you're in a connection, let's just say you've met someone through an online party or through, social media, and you start learning more about this person by, looking at their social media or in your, private conversations. And you learn that, this person hasn't been on a vacation in a really long time, or they never got the honeymoon, or, it's just not in their budget to go on vacation. So that's the why she should join, because that she can make some extra money for things that are not in the budget, the needs, right? For the wants, that their budget is for their needs, but not for their wants. But then you also learned that, she's really a fun person. She has a great personality and she really just loves to be around people. And so that's why she could be a consultant for your company. So why she should is the vacation, and why she could is because she has this great personality. Now that's just one example. There are people who come on that have different personalities and different strengths again, and can build a very, very successful business. So that's just one example. So if you're like, well, she doesn't seem to have a good personality, I'm not going to offer it to her. No, everybody deserves the offer. Because here's the other thing that I learned in the 15 years that I was in the industry. especially if you're in like a group setting. So if you're doing home parties, or maybe you're at an event and you're talking about your opportunity and you offer it to one lady, but you don't offer it to the other person. And she's sitting right beside her. Now, the person you didn't offer it to is sitting there thinking to herself, well, what's wrong with me? Like, why didn't she offer it to me? Right. So you can really discourage someone else if you're not offering it to them, but you offered it to the person right next to them. So that's just something maybe you've never thought about when you're in that group setting. In the DMs, no one's going to see that, but just be sure to offer it to everyone and give them the opportunity to say yes or no, because they may appear on social media, they have it all together. They've got, bling all on their neck and their hands and their wrists and all that, but maybe they literally just lost everything yesterday. Something happened and they lost everything. Could your opportunity help that person? Could you be a superhero in that woman's life? I think yes. So again, offer it to everyone and let them make the decision to say yes or no. Okay, so the second perception that keeps us from sponsoring is the fear of hearing no. That's the second reason why we don't sponsor, is we don't like to hear that little 2-letter word. We don't like saying it either. And if you've been following me for any amount of time, I talk about saying no a lot. And because, if you're saying no to one thing, or if you're saying yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. And it's really important to know your priorities. But so we don't like to say no and we don't like to hear no. And so we think people are rejecting us when they say, no, I'm not interested in that business opportunity right now. And you just need to know, you may offer it and some will say yes and others may say no, not right now, but later decide to join. Later, maybe they've had a change in their life and they need the opportunity. So, we do tend to look for people who will join for the same reasons that maybe you joined. And we need to look at all of the needs that having this business can provide. Again, products, trips, income, recognition, friends, getting out of the house. And I'm sure this is still the same, but the industry standard was, takes about 10 no's to get one yes. So just know for every no, check it off, celebrate it, know you're getting one step closer to your yes. You have to know the numbers, in your business. Again, that could be a whole other podcast, but that's what the industry standard was. So just check them off, keep going, and just keep an ongoing list of people as you think of them, and offer them the opportunity. And just know that, again, right at that moment, they may say no, and no doesn't mean like, I'd rather shove thumbtacks underneath my fingernails and to say yes to your opportunity. It could just be that right now and this time it's not the right time for them, but keep them on your list and keep them in the loop. And you never know when they may come back. Because if you are sharing the opportunity with a genuine compliment on the why she should and the why she could, number one, she's going to be encouraged that day because you saw something in her that maybe she didn't see in herself. And she's going to love you for that. She's going to buy from you for that. And when she's ready, and if that time comes and she wants to join, guess who she's going to come back to? The person that just tried to sponsor her, or the person who showed genuine interest in her and what her needs were and what she wanted to get out of her business. I think you can figure that one out. Okay, so there are some sponsoring stoppers that I want to share just really quickly. Number one is giving too much information. Like, we're in the business, when you're in the business, all of the amazing things about your company and your programs and the support and the trips and the bonuses. And all these things, but to someone who's not in your business, they have zero clue. And when we come at them with all of this information, they become like deer in headlights. We just have completely pushed them away because they get so much information, they get confused. A confused mind says no every single time. So the goal is to pique their curiosity. And in the end, you want it to be their idea, not something you talk them into. When people don't understand what you're saying, they're just going to say no. So I always just like to ask, what are you most excited about? Give them some information and then stop talking and then follow up with them, on a later date. Because if you just send them, I don't even know if y'all still send packets out, or if you're giving them information via email or via the DMs, just know that information and that paper doesn't sponsor people. People sponsor people. So don't hide behind your paper packets. Don't hide behind your emails. Don't hide behind all the information. People want to do business with people, and people want to join a business with someone who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. So just keep that in the back of your mind. It's really easy when you get excited to like show, start giving them all this information, but 9 times out of 10, deer in headlights show up and they're out of there. Okay, the second one, I've made reference to it a couple of times, but being spammy. Just cold calling or cold DMing, cold texting. Hey girl, I saw this, blah, blah, blah. And, or, like I receive these, like I would say monthly, I receive DM messages from people that I haven't talked to in years and years and years. And they're like, I thought of you. I'm like, really? You thought of me? So don't be spammy, be genuine, right? I'm not saying, that you can't DM somebody, but be genuine about it. Let it be someone you have a relationship with. It's just, it's not good to be cold DMing and spamming people. Okay. The third one I want to share is portraying perfection. This could be on your social media presence. I know that it feels good to know how to apply that makeup and put it all on right. And, to be able to show how organized your spaces are, or, how healthy you look and all of those things, but show them the like behind the scenes as well, right? You want to be relatable to people. If you come across as perfect, you know what they're thinking? It's really cool what she does, but I can't do it. I can't see myself doing that. Like, how many of the makeup videos have you watched and you're like, first of all, I don't have time to do all that. Second of all, she looks so perfect. So share behind the scenes, share things you're nervous about, share things you're fearful of, like be real, be you, because that's what people are looking for. People want real and relatable leaders and business partners. They don't want perfect ones. So if you are a perfectionist, you're just going to have to make yourself mess up on social media a little bit, or share a little bit of your behind the scenes so that people can say, oh, okay, yeah, she's a real person. So the last thing that I want to share with you is from Simon Sinek. And you could watch this kind of mini training, I'm pretty sure, on YouTube. And he has a book called Why Start with Why, but he talks about the golden circle. And if you were to draw a circle, a small circle, that would be the why. And then the next circle would be the how. And then the big circle on the outside would be the what. And most of us start with the what, what we offer, what products represent, like what products you have to sell. And then, how you go about doing those things, how you can be successful. And then they get to the why. Well, most people have tuned us out with the what and the how by the time we get to the why. And so his whole theory or perception is to flip that and start from the inside out. And the way to inspire action in people is to start from the inside out, because people don't care what you do. They care why you do it. And so I want you to think about that as you're thinking about the fall season and how you want to share the opportunity. You want to start with, why? Why are you doing it? Because people buy why you do it, not what you do. They buy what you do, why you do it, not what you do. Hoping that makes sense. Just got a little tongue-tied there, but why do they want it? Why would someone want your opportunity? Why do you love it? We talked about that earlier. How can they get it? Right. So we're going from the inside out, and then get to the programs and the products and all of that. But typically that's where we start, is with the programs and the products. And then by the time we get down to the why and really helping them to discover, what their why is or what their why would be for the business, we've kind of lost them. So we want to inspire people to act, right? You want to inspire action in people. And when we start with why they want it, then they'll be ready to hear the how and the what. They'll be ready to hear the how and the what. And not even just, the why is I want to make some extra income. Okay, well, how is that income going to make a difference in your family? How is that going to impact you? How's that going to impact your family, your kids? Like, dig a little deeper and don't be afraid to do that. I know sometimes we feel like we're like interrogating people, but these are the questions that are really going to inspire them to do all the things they need to do to be successful in your business. But again, we usually start with the what, like how much your starter kit is, all the programs and all of the amazing things we have about your company. And then we go to tactical, like, okay, so now here's what we have to offer and here's what you're going to need to do. And then we get to the why. And by the time we've gotten to that why, they have just kind of clicked us off, or they're confused. And they just feel like you're just simply trying to sponsor them, like you're not interested in them at all. So people have a remote control in their heads today. They really do. And if you don't catch their attention, they'll just click you off. They will legit click you off. This is on social media, especially our attention spans are like 1 millisecond. So people just will click you off. You could be sitting there talking for 10 minutes or DMing. And if you haven't gotten started with that why, you probably lost them. So again, you can look that up. That's Simon Sinek, The Golden Circle by Simon Sinek. You can just Google that, or maybe we can put the link to that in the show notes. But it's really one of the most eye-opening trainings. And no matter what kind of action you're trying to inspire in people, whether it's to buy your product or to buy, be a part of the opportunity, or maybe someone who you're wanting to host a party, if you're doing parties, this is a great way to inspire action. So no matter what your goals are for your business this fall, there is no wrong path except the path not chosen. So pick a path. Are you a go-getter and you're wanting to go all the way up the career path? Then you're definitely going to want to include sponsoring in your business plan this fall. And maybe you're not wanting to go all the way to the top, but being a superhero is, something that really excites you to know you can make an impact on somebody's life. Then also make sure you're including sponsoring in your business plan for this fall. But just pick a path and get to work. You don't have to be great to get started, but you do have to start to be great. Y'all have heard that before. And the great Mary Kay Ash once said, success is around the corner for the person who refuses to give up. Never give up on yourself or anyone who has shown interest. Life can change in an instant, and we have all seen that over the last 2 years. So just kind of in summary, some of the things we've talked about, I just want you all to know that sponsoring is really just sharing what you're passionate about with others. So I really want you to identify your why, if you haven't already, like what are the deep rooted reasons why you are doing your business? Because again, you can't offer something you're not passionate about or know why you're passionate about it to someone else and get results. The second is to shift your perspective on sponsoring and remember that it's our job to offer and it's their job to accept or decline. It's a great time of year to be looking and using that supervision and super hearing to sponsor. They need it and you've got it. All you have to do is share. And if we open up ourselves to not sponsoring because we want to win a company contest or a promotion, but we open up to whom I can help today, who is out there that is just waiting for me to offer this phenomenal gift, you are making a real impact on the lives of others where you see it, whether you see it every day or not. I had a good friend of mine say that to me a couple of years ago, and that's really just stuck with me. A lot of times we go through our days and we don't get to see the impact, but just because you don't see it doesn't mean you're not actually having an impact on others. So my prayer for all of you is that you will decide to be sponsoring superheroes and you will go out there this fall and you will rescue as many women and families as you can with the amazing gift of your opportunity. So I'm believing in you always. I hope that these 2 episodes will help you to shift your perspective on sponsoring, and you will go out there and be willing to share this gift. Catch you on the next episode. Well, that's a wrap, friends, for this week's episode of the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. Thank you so much for listening and for following the show. It means so much to me. And listen, friend, sharing is caring. So if you loved this episode and thought of some fellow mompreneurs who could benefit, send them the link. Share this episode or take a screenshot and head on over to Instagram and share and tag me at Martine31Williams. We are connected on Instagram, right? It's where you will get all the fun behind the scenes of my life and business as a mompreneur. Until next time, know that I am believing in you always.